Next up at UFC Vegas 85, we have Jeong Yeong Lee taking on Blake Bilder. This should be a really fun fight, and it's definitely an interesting fight that is going to divide the community here because Jeong Yeong Lee is 10-1. He is 5-0 in his last 5, and he is coming off his first official UFC win, where Blake Bilder, 8-1, is a prospect, but he's coming off that decision loss to Kyle Nelson, where he was the favorite, and it caught a lot of people off guard. So I think a lot of people it burst their bubble. They have that in their head. Oh, Blake Bilder lost that last fight to Kyle Nelson. Blake Bilder sucks. And that is the unfortunate.
When you chew gum, do you blow bubbles?
I'll suck the bubbles in. I'll make the little bubbles and like that. Anyway, the unfortunate reality of this sport is fighters are only good as their last fight. Remember a few weeks ago where I said Nicholas Mata can knock this dude out. Nicholas Mata is the better fighter. Nicholas Mata has more experience. But all everybody wanted to remember is that Trey Ogden smoked Nicholas Mata. What did Nicholas Mata do? Flatline that dude. Could be a similar situation here with Blake Bilder. People want to talk about, Trey Ogden beat him. Kyle Nelson beat him. He was the favorite and he blew it. He did blow it. But overall, Blake Bilder's an aggressive grappler. He can be a busy striker. He's going to shoot takedowns when he gets the opportunity. He's going to control from there. And he explodes with everything that he does. On the ground, he'll explode into mount. He'll explode into side control. He'll chase submissions. And he has really solid control. So while he's chasing submissions that are there. He's not going to put himself out of position and lose the whole thing. He can strike as well. He's got a loose style, but he is hittable. I mentioned he's coming off that loss to Kyle Nelson, where he went 0 for 3 in takedown attempts, and he could not keep up with Kyle's striking. He's taking on Jeong Yeong Lee. This guy's a very well-rounded guy. He's got a loose striking style himself. He manages range well. He's got solid takedowns and very good grappling. He is long for this division, and he uses that length well by just walking you down. He is hittable, though, because he keeps his hands a little bit too low, but he does have a very solid chin and grappling as a backup coming off his first official UFC win over Yiza, where despite having 5 takedowns and 8 minutes of control, it was a close split decision, which tells you just how desperate he looked. And I don't mean that to be derogatory, but judges don't seem to like the diving at legs. When you're constantly, he's just doing beach sounds. When you're constantly diving at legs, for some reason, the judges see that as desperation, and they don't like it. And that's sort of what happened to Jeong Yeong in his last fight. Dominant performance on paper, but it was a very close split decision. This should be a close fight as well. But can you shut that off?
I can't shut off nature. I can't shut off our Lord.
We both know that you have a sun allergy and couldn't be outside on the beach right now, even if you wanted to be. So let's stop playing games and stay indoors where it's nice and safe for Jakey boy. Okay? Okay. Yeah. I bet.
It's so good.
Yeah, go ahead. Open your mouth like that. Yeah. And that'll be in the Discord photoshopped in less than 20 minutes.
Love being on the beach. I
bet you do. So does that skin cancer, nerd. This should be a close fight. Blake Bilder definitely shit the bed in his last outing against Kyle Nelson. But hopefully that was a wake-up call to say, hey, go all in on the wrestling. If you watch his Instagram, 2 things are going to come to mind. First, you're going to say, how does this guy not have a permanent staph infection? Because that gym is a disgusting swamp. The second thing that will come to mind
is...
That's
not normal, right?
No.
Because some
that's
people
the
watch
wettest
it. Like
jiu-jitsu gym I've ever seen.
Because I watch that shit and I'm like,
no, it's not.
No wonder they're in bathrobes.
The only thing I can think of is they have the heat cranked all the way up. Because like the fluids on that mat are nuts.
Not healthy.
Like,
can't be healthy.
Nuts.
Can't be healthy.
Honestly, it can't be good for training either. It's just too slippery. It's not realistic. It's like ridiculous. Either way, he's a better grappler than I am, so what do I know?
If they ever do like an outdoor event, and in that outdoor event, it starts raining.
He's all set up for Abu Dhabi with the air conditioning's broken. But anyway, point being, Blake Bilder, one of the takeaways you're going to get is this guy can grapple. He's got very slick grappling, very slick submission skills, and he's big. He's going to be the bigger fighter here. I do think size matters. I think he can bully his way forward, get the takedowns, get the win. Blake Bilder is the pick. He's the underdog here. The line is closing on itself, and I haven't decided if I am confident enough or not. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I've heard a lot this week. There's a few dogs that are like the favorite dogs, right? Because especially when we have an off week, everyone's always is who's going to be locked of the week? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be this? And there's a lot of Drew Dober, but there's a lot of Blake Bilder as well. And listen, I get it because this guy is an athlete. He is a talented guy. He is pretty good everywhere. He probably is the most dominant in more of his jiu-jitsu than his wrestling. I don't really love his takedowns. And in this fight, I think that's what's going to cost him in this fight because if you watch that Kyle Nelson fight, yeah, he was the favorite, and he let us all down. And when I remembered that fight before I rewatched it, I remember him in the third round. In my mind, I thought he quit, right? I thought he quit. I thought he gave up. He started doing the showboating stuff like he didn't care, all that type of stuff. Then I watched it back. I was like, yeah, he really kind of stayed in that fight. And at the end, it was just winging right hands is what you're supposed to do when he knew he was losing. So I kind of give him a little bit more credit than I thought I was going to coming in this fight. But still, if you watch that fight and you watch his striking, because I believe that this is going to be a mostly striking match. I don't like Blake Bilder's takedowns. I think Lee has good enough takedown defense. The last guy he fought, I think, has much better takedowns than Blake Bilder. Blake Bilder came in against Jeong Yeong and said, I feel sorry for Jeong Yeong if this fight goes to the ground. He's that confident in his ability. He's got one takedown. Jeong Yeong got back to his feet, missed the next, I think, 6 takedowns, something like that. So Lee, I think, is good enough to defend the takedowns. If he does get taken down, black belt himself, so I think he's going to be able to survive anything on the ground, get back to his feet, because I don't think Blake's got the wrestling type of control. And on the feet, I see Lee as definitely the more powerful guy, but the more straight line shots. I mean, he sets up shots and throws them right down the middle. And Blake Bilder's more of those looping type of guys. And if you watch that fight versus Kyle Nelson was really eating him alive with a nice straight jab, but also a nice straight right hand when Blake was trying to come with those hooking shots. So on the feet, I think Blake's in trouble. And on the ground, even if he gets it there, I think Lee's good enough to survive. So in a mostly striking matchup, to me, I got to go with the better striker. And I fully believe that Lee is the much better striker in this matchup. Also, the much more powerful striker, and I wouldn't be surprised if he knocks Blake Bilder out. So I like Blake Bilder. He seems like a fun guy. We'll see if he can bounce back from that tough loss. And but I think this is a good matchup for Lee.
Yeah, that's why I haven't placed a bet on Blake Bilder yet, because I go back and forth. The problem with somebody that like Jeong Yeong Lee, who's 10-1, is coming off that win, a nice little streak. We just never know if he is that good or if it's just been his level of competition. This fight will answer a lot of those questions. Blake Bilder is good. And if Lee blows right through him, then wow, Lee was that good. He's been that good prospect. Or it's like, he's been beating up on regional guys and now he's in the UFC and that's just not going to work anymore. So I'm sort of torn here a little bit. Maybe some prop bets, but even that gets tricky because Lee has some power and Blake could potentially submit him. Like, there's a lot going on here. So I'm probably going to sit this fight out. We have 11 weeks worth of fights. This is a sketchy card. So I'm going to choose my spots and be careful.
Do you think I look like Jeong Yeong Lee a little bit?
I think you're... Nope, he's much taller. So no, I don't think you look like him at all.
Well, Elizabeth mentioned his cheekbones, and I think we kind of got similar cheekbones.
Yeah, I don't see it. $8,300 in DraftKings. You trust in your boy with that kind of salary?
I think there's some good value there. I think he's very live for a finish against Blake Bilder. The way that Blake gets hit and the way that Lee can hit people. And he actually showed it. I mean, his last fight, too, he showed a little bit of durability and some toughness as well to be able to tough out that victory. So I think I like Lee a lot in this matchup for the value, especially because you mentioned this is a tough card. Some lines are a little bit wide. Some are close, but you don't really like playing them. I actually kind of like Lee here compared to the rest of the fights.
Yeah, well, let's put it this way. You're definitely more confident in Lee as the favorite than I am as Blake as the underdog. But I think Blake can be a little bit of a weight bully here, push it around, and get it done. If I do end up placing a bet on Blake Bilder, you will see it instantly in the Discord if you linked your account on premium. All you need to do is become a premium member at weonpicks.com. Click Become a Member. Click on the account page. There's a big-ass button that says Link Discord. Once you do that, you will get all sorts of notifications and everything else directly to your phone. weonpicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Before you go, let me give you $50. Anybody who goes to wewontpicks.com/bets and signs up with any one of our affiliate partners gets $50 as a thank you. Use the link, sign up, make a deposit. We send you $50 as a thank you.